I always kind of you kind of had the game that I was jealous of. Like I always wanted to get the ball in a 15-foot face up, go to work. I always wanted to get in that pick and roll and just. I was a role player, so obviously my scoring was basically depending on what the game called for. But I always admired the game that you had. You had that game that I always wanted to be able to play on a consistent level. But just talk about, your game. Is that what you played like in high school? Or is that something that you just developed over the years? That 15-footer, that face up, the nice touch and all that. Like I'm telling you, I know your game because I had to guard you.
Right.
So I know your game, but you always had that game. I say, damn, if I was like a guy who got the ball, this is how I would like to play.
Right.
Just talk about your game and just soaking into that because you came in when power forwards was like real power forwards. Like when you came in the league when they had real power forwards. But did you pattern your game after anybody?
Well, so man, it's weird. So I didn't play like the way I played in the NBA. I didn't play like that in high school.
Okay.
Or really in college. Like in college, I scored over like 2,000 points, and I mean I joke about it, but I promise you probably like 1,800 were within 8 feet. Like everything was just at the basket. So it wasn't until I got to the NBA and I could make plays like 17 feet and in. A college 3-point line and in. But I wasn't like super athletic. I just had a sneaky long wingspan. So people underestimated, my wingspan. Like I got a 7'4" wingspan. So that was always an advantage that people didn't realize until they started playing against me. So that's how I was able to get my shot off without having to jump so high and all that was because when I got the full extension, I had usually had a little bit more on my shot than most people could get to. So that was one thing, but then I developed the ability to shoot really in the NBA. I was getting knocked around my first couple years because I was light. I came in the draft, I was 226,
that
and I worked.
That don't even sound right, by the way. You
got
pushed around.
I worked hard to get that heavy for the draft because at that time, like you couldn't play the power forward position without being 245, 250, 260.
Not 2003. That was 7 footers at 4
You know what I'm saying? So, I had to change because I was getting knocked around trying to knock people over at 220, 225 is not working. So, that summer after my second year, I just started shooting. Like just literally, just got in the gym with my man G. Who's a development guy, and we just got in the gym and we just started making shots, like literally 300 some days, 400, 500, 600, 700.
Speaking my language,
D
West.
Drills, just straight catching, shooting the ball until I felt like I had the type of muscle memory where if I just let it go, I think it's going in. So that was something that I just had to do, and then I watched Kenny Gaddison gave me some Karl Malone videos, and those Karl Malone videos kind of gave me the context of like how he used to do it and where he used to shoot the ball from. So I just copied that, and I just started shooting the ball. So to be honest with you, it wasn't nothing but just taking the time out 3-4 days a week during the summer and just shoot the ball, have somebody willing to rebound and pass to you, but like that was it. So the other stuff, the big shoulder and stuff, that stuff came as I got heavier. Like, it wasn't until, if you look at my stuff in New Orleans, a lot of the stuff is off the bounce. It's the catch and shoot. It's the shot, fake and go left and get back right. And then when I get to Indiana, I'm like, okay, I'm a little heavier now, so I could use the big shoulder and move people around. But like that was the way that my game kind of evolved. It's just a necessity. Like I had to figure out a way to be successful.
I just remember you as the Hornets because one time I was playing in New Orleans. You threw me in the stanchions so goddamn hard I still can't remember what happened.
No.
I said, gosh, damn, I'm still laying on the floor.
Hey, listen, D West, what they don't understand is when we first came into the league, like the power forward position was the most petrifying position in the league. You had Chris Webber one night. You had Tim Duncan one night. You have a young Elton Brand. You have Kevin Garnett. You have Dirk Nowitzki. You would get your ass tore up at the power forward position. Oh my gosh, Shareef Abdul-Rahim.
Shareef was a problem.
Like Pau Gasol.
Like literally.
Gasol in Memphis.
Yeah.
Powell
Yeah.
in Memphis.
Yes, bro. Like
Amari
Stoudemire.
Zebo.
Got Zebo.
I mean, and then you had Blake Griffin and LaMarcus come in, Scola in Houston, Juwan Howard.
man.
Yeah, Scola
There
was
were a lot of guys at that position. There was literally no night off.
Bro, it
And
was,
then
it
there
was
were
petrifying.
defenders. See, the other part is there were defenders at that position, like Kenny Thomas,
Kenny
Kurt Thomas.
Wow.
Remember them
Kurt
dudes?
Thomas, yes.
Like them dudes could guard. They could, UD. You were one of those guys that could guard the position. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
guard the guys. Right?
Out of fear, D West. If you didn't bring it, you will get your ass tore up. And that was around the time where you had to guard your yard or you was coming out. If they're going to go at you every time till the coach take you out.
Right. You got to prove you can stop it. Exactly.
Yes. So literally, I competed so hard because I knew if I didn't, get your ass
It
embarrassed.
still doesn't explain why it threw me in the stanchion so damn hard.
Oh,
all I remember is D West.
I think I got suspended for that.
All I remember in the back of my head still is carpe diem because that's the cap. It's your tattoos on your calf. Because I was like Tweety.
Mike, you hit me in the back of my head, bro.
Damn, Mike, you hit him in the back of the head.
I probably hit him with cheap shot.
You hit me in the back of my head, and you did it twice. Because I came across the middle to score, I think, and you like kind of, I was like, yo, man, did you do that? And then the next time, I was like, yo, bro, you did that on purpose. I'm almost sure that's how it went down.
Hey,
that sounds about right.
I was just trying to commit a hard foul, and then you dipped, so it just looked a lot worse than it actually.
Hey, that story started to come together a little better. Is probably true.
Right.
But he hit me so damn hard, bro. They said, hey, is everything good? I just said, carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Hey, all would aside, because it's not just that. If you remember the second time we played y'all in the playoffs, you beat the shit out of Shane.
Oh, Indiana? Oh, yeah. Shane still can't walk. Shane still can't walk. You're on the other side, so you ain't going to hear the story. We used to be like, Shane, you all right, bro?
Bro, listen.
You him up.
He used to come to the locker room. We used to just look at him, D West.
Get your ass in the ice tub.
We used to look at him, and we used to look at each other like, boy, we don't know how much more he can take.
Shane on his last leg. Batman on his last leg for real.
Oh my God.
Hey, D West, those Indiana teams y'all had though. Gosh, damn, we had some wars.
Man,
yeah, no, for sure, man. Like we tried everything. That was the thing with us, man. Like the one thing about Coach Vogel, right, was like he had this weird, but he has this gift of like he's just pumping energy into you. Like he's it's almost like he's just constantly gassing you. And so he really would push me to that line, like, yo, get there. As soon as you can, get there. And I'm like, well, you just get there. Like, whatever that is, get there. So he's like, that's one of the advantages we have. So he'd be like, beat these up. Just beat them up. And just get there. So he would, that's the way we played. It gave us a shot. Again, every year you got one team that wins, but typically you got 3 or 4 championship contending teams. So I felt like, for those years we were in Indy, we were one of those teams that, if things break the right way, we probably have a shot at a title.
I mean, y'all were the team who obviously, between you guys and Boston, but I always
Chicago.
knew.
That East was a...
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I always knew, like, whoever would win between us was probably going to win the East. Like, and so, right. I mean, that was no disrespect to Boston, but the physicality, that was what y'all brought, and we always knew, like, we got to lace him up.
Yeah. That's when I thought first. I mean, I knew he wasn't human, but that's when I first knew LeBron really wasn't human. It was the Indiana series, because he would have to end up guarding every position on your floor. When Shane would be crippled, he'd go guard you. When PG or Danny Granger get going, he'd go guard them. Right? Like I was like, this dude's all over the place. And that, to me, in playoff basketball, to have that luxury was unbelievable. But that's when I remember that, because we did talk about it. That Shane Battier story is funny. Batman's my dog.
Used to beat that shit.
But you beat his ass. Oh my God.
Right. But now those series, man, it was like, there were moments where we really thought, we were like, man, we got you guys. Like, we got them. And then I remember, like, the first year, I think this was the conference semis, and we had. This is when you guys lost to Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, but we went up 2-1, and It was Spo and D Wade had their little spat. They were like yelling at each other going to the bench, and I'm like, oh, we got them. Like, I just knew like that was the crack in the armor, but then like that next game, man, it was like D Wade and Bron went to a level, and that's where we all were like, if we're gonna beat these guys at some point over these next few years, we're gonna have to do some really, really, really crazy stuff, because we all felt that them take it to that level. Like, damn, like we felt that like LeBron playing in like that desperation mode. Yeah. That's the mode that like we felt he was most dangerous.
It's funny you say that.
If he's just out there like he could cook you and get going, we're like, okay, he might. But if he feels like he's really threatened, like that, the energy that you got to put to stop just the smallest shit, right? Like when he's just driving, just downhill, 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 downhill. The ability to break, like when we would get to Miami, there would be a point where we like, yo, if they start running in here, we're done. Yeah. And we up and make a mistake here, a mistake there, and boom, next thing you know, that like 18-0 run, lobs and threes and dunks and ones. So, you know, for us, man, it was just we tried to find that moment to break, you know, one of the all-time great teams. We just couldn't break through.
It's funny you say that, because I'll never forget the come to Jesus we had in the hotel with the game he's talking about. Because we were kind of in shambles a little bit. Like there was some bickering going on, and we had that players only. And those dudes came out, like you said, desperate, though. And it was a different level of basketball, man. Like it was watching a movie. Crazy.
I mean, nuts. And their numbers were insane that game. Know. It was like something stupid.
Yeah. The one thing we did, and we knew this, that they could go to a level that nobody else could go to. You know what I'm saying? So all we had to do was just defend and play hard. Like, once they went to that level, and I tell people this all the time, because I made this conversation the other day. I was talking about Jimmy Butler. I was talking about how Jimmy is the smartest offensive player I've been around. This takes nothing away from Dwayne and D Wade, but they just could go to a level that other people couldn't go to. Jimmy is very calculated. He has to be calculated. He has to, if you have a weakness, he has to find it. If you have if you make a mistake, he has to exploit it. Bron and D Wade, it don't matter what your weakness is.
Right.
They're gonna go to the level they're gonna go to.
Right.
And they're gonna leave your ass at the 5th floor while they go to the 7th and 8th.
Right.
So it was nothing that I was knocking against D Wade and Bron. It's just that they're that gifted. You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy has to be a little more calculated. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy you brought that up, because they literally can go to a level that it don't matter what kind of defense you play.
It
don't matter what your scheme is.
I don't really like when somebody talks about Bron, or talks even those. I'm like, yo, if you've never stood across them, like when they're in desperation mode, bro. Like my brother, I swear to God, bro, my older brother, right? He's very introspective. So he calls me one day in the middle of one of those series, right? He called me. He goes, yo, how you doing? I go, I'm good. He goes, I gotta ask you this. He's like, what does it feel like to be standing out front guarding LeBron James? Because we had this point where, like, end of the shot clock, we're going to switch. So the game before, it was like, it happened like 2 or 3 times where I'm just out there on the island, you know, against him, just trying to force him 2 or 3. And my brother's like, yo, what does that, he's like, yo, what does that feel like? I'm like, I can't even describe it, bro. I'm like, it feel like you you thinking it does, man. You ain't got no words. You know what I'm saying? You just trying to figure something out.
And that was, you know, it's amazing what he's doing now at 40 years old, obviously. But that Miami level of athleticism and strength was just different. Man. I mean, like you said, bro, when we ran at home where we got going,
bro, I mean, he was just running. I'm like, yo,
he was like, so
just dunking,
fast and athletic,
physically focused. You know, we just a savant of the game, man. I mean, that's all he is, right? It's like somebody just has the physical tools, but also that mental gift to just boom. If you're here, he can go here and then here. You know?
Here is a dirty little secret that insurance industry may want to keep under wraps. Insurance companies profit by holding on to your money for as long as possible. So after an accident, they might do whatever they can to delay or deny your claim. This way, they can keep those profits growing. Morgan & Morgan fights hard against these corporations to fight to make sure you get every dollar you deserve. When in court, the insurance companies want juries to think that at-fault driver is the one paying the verdict amount. Meanwhile, it's really the insurance companies who are covering the cost. When Morgan & Morgan takes on a case, they're almost always going after the big insurance companies and not the individuals at fault. Morgan & Morgan fights hard for their clients, and these corporations know that. A recent client in Pennsylvania just received $29 million. That's $29 million. Insurer's best offer was $500,000. Another recent client in Florida received $20 million. Last offer, zero. There's a reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury firm. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous. Hiring the right firm could substantially increase your settlement. With Morgan & Morgan, it's easy to get started, and their fee is free unless they win. Just visit forthepeople.com/OGs or dial #law 529. That's forthepeople.com/OGs or dial #law 529. This, my friends, is a paid advertisement. Playoff basketball is here, and there is still plenty of game left to be played. Don't miss a second of hoops action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. From every game day until the trophy is lifted, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, odds boost, and so much more. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code OGs. The crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, use my promo code OGs and bet just $5 on any wager to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code OGs only at DraftKings Sportsbook.